Well, it certainly is a beautiful day here at InterPride, and I am joined by some remarkable leadership here in the organization, Alan Reiff and Robyn Kennedy. And today we just wanted to give everybody an update on the grants program that we just relaunched. It's been reformed, it's been put in a much better place than it has been in the past. We just made some additional changes that make it easier for folks to be able to access the important grant funding we have. So without further ado, Robyn, I will let you kick it away and tell everybody about the great, awesome new program.
Thanks, Ryan. Quite a few of us have been involved in really updating our two funding programs under grants, which is Solidarity Fund and the Humanitarian Aid Fund. So we've really streamlined the process significantly to make it much more accessible for people applying for funding. It's now all online. There's a standard application form, which means it'll make it much more efficient for us to assess, and means we are looking at exactly the same information for each organisation that applies. So a much more streamlined and accessible process. So our two funds, Solidarity, that is a fund that supports Pride events in places where it is sometimes very difficult for those events to be staged. So we have a target for Global South and also Eastern Europe. We're all familiar, I think, with how difficult it is for countries in those locations to stage Pride events. So Solidarity is about helping them out with a grant to cover essential costs. We also have the Humanitarian Aid Fund. Now that's a fairly new fund, and that provides costs for our LGBTQIA+ communities who are in a very difficult situation. So some sort of crisis that they're dealing with. It covers essential needs such as short-term rent or shelter, to cover homelessness, blankets, food, water, all kinds of basic expenses. Because we know from experience that our communities often miss out on basic needs and support due to discrimination. So that's a very important fund as well.
Yes, and the funds are so important. We've been raising money left, right, and center to try to really help out the folks in places like Uganda and the Global South and East Asia. And Alan, you want to tell folks a little bit about some of the more recent successes and support we've been able to do in the Global South especially?
Certainly. So as Robyn and you have also said, this is not a new program. We've just kind of fine-tuned it. In the past, we have funded a barbecue in the back of an LGBT church. We have also sent money to Uganda. We have had an LGBT film festival in Macedonia. The list goes on. We've had some events in South America. And it's basically, as Robyn had said, Pride organizations that are operating on a shoestring budget who have an idea, and they come to us and money is given to them to promote and help them produce these events. And what I think is great is that, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me, that the application is not only in English, if I'm correct. So the application is in more than one language. So it gives more of a global outreach for people to come into this. And on our website and through the fund, you can find out more about some of the things that we have funded. And we definitely like to continue funding these projects.
Yes, and the funding for these projects, and I just so folks understand, when we give, for example, when we give $1,000 to an organization that's located in Uganda, that is a lot of money for that organization. And I know that we can sometimes in our Western civilization can really not necessarily understand that fully, but that can go such a long way and making such a dramatic impact. And Robyn, you want to maybe talk about that a little bit more and kind of flesh it out?
Sure, that's very true. So in many Global South countries, $1,000, even $500 can go a very long way because the cost of living is very different. Things and that the cost of living plus wages are very low. So when we think about $500, we think, oh, well, that's not much money. What can you do with it? But that is a lot of money because people's wages are low, and for them, that is a lot of money. So for them to try and raise $500 is a major effort. So for us to be able to give that amount of money, that will cover a lot of things to support their Pride event. So we take that into account when we're assessing the applications. Where is this application from? And what is an amount of money that would really help them, whether it's to stage a Pride event or to help them cover some really essential needs.
And that's so important because we want to bring Pride to the entire world. We want to empower Pride organizers worldwide, and this is just one of those ways that we are able to do it. And Alan, you want to maybe give folks a high-level overview as to what the process would be from the time they submit to what we do next?
Certainly. So an organization would fill out the application after they've read the policy, which is all online, to make sure that they have checked all the boxes and understand what the program is. And then it comes into us, and we have an internal spreadsheet where all the applicants go on. And then we have a committee. So there isn't one particular person who makes this decision. And our committee is made up from people who are all over the world with a very diverse group, so that no one should feel there is any lack of equity going on there. And then based on the amount of money that we receive from donations, and some of the money we get is from our sponsorships, we then make decisions on how to grant out money. There is an internal protocol to make sure that LGBTQIA plus, no any letter in the alphabet gets any more of a preference than anybody else, that we're making sure everybody gets an equal chance at this. And then in the application now, there is a way for them to put in how they would get the money. So once they're approved, in the past, it was a back and forth trying to find out a way how to get them the money. The new process allows us to immediately go into the application to see where and how and transfers are done, their bank accounts, and the money then can be sent to them. So the amount of time from approval to receiving the funding has been cut drastically. And we've also implemented a rolling fund. In the past, it was you applied and then there was a cutoff, and then we made decisions, hopefully based on donations and support, maybe from some of you watching this right now. We'll have a bit more money. And as we're doing rolling grants, we'll be able throughout the year, maybe quarterly or monthly, depending on how much money we have, to continually make grants. So we really, really encourage everybody to read the policy and fill out an application. And I just want to say, si usted está mirando eso en el sur del mundo, por favor, lee las aplicaciones porque están en español. Si tu regardes là et vous parlez français en Afrique, en pays en Europe, s'il te plaît, l'application s'est ouverte pour tout le monde. Regardez tout dans l'ordinateur et s'il te plaît, mettre une application. So we really are encouraging those from all around the world, a global opportunity here for people to apply.
And thank you so much for giving that high level overview. And just to go back on the review process, we had a lot of input and a lot of folks from external, internal, that went through an incredible amount of input to make sure that this review process is as equitable as it could possibly be. And just to emphasize that, because we understand that there is always this perception that maybe funds are being favoritist to someone. That's not the way this works. We have a very, very, very clear criteria, which is in the policy. You could see exactly what is looked at. There's a rating scale. There's different measures that we use. And these scales and these measures in this review process came from input from everybody we could possibly get input from. And so, Robyn, do you have any additional thoughts on that?
No, I'd like to support that very much. We have really tried to make both of these funds as accessible, as understandable as possible, which is why we've developed very detailed policy statements so that it's very clear what we fund, who we give money to, and what the process is, so that it's very clear to everybody. And I think also now having a standard online application form will make it much more accessible. Previously, people often just sent in an email, and it was quite difficult to judge exactly what was being asked for, or how we would assess that application, how would we transfer funds. But now we have all of that information collected via the online form. So it's very easy for people to just click on the form and provide us with all the information. So I think that is quite a big improvement, and it really means it's accessible for everybody.
And let's also keep in mind, just like anything, we're always seeking feedback. We always welcome any comments, or if you see something that might make it better, please provide that feedback. So when we were assessing it again in 2023, we can see that, so we can provide and incorporate that feedback from folks. We want to make this as accessible, as inclusive, and as streamlined as possible. Alan, do you have any additional thoughts?
No, I think that the whole process that has come up with now will carry over to all of our grants, not only for Solidarity and for the humanitarian, but another program, our scholarship program as well, which is another video chat also. But we now have a you might say an organizational template, so it will really improve things all across the board.
And we are very excited to serve the LGBTQIA+ community around the world. We continue to do everything we possibly can to elevate the voices of those that struggle to have a voice. And we want to thank everyone for being part of this journey with us. And so let's do a quick round of closing thoughts. Alan?
Well, I know that I'm very much looking forward to going through these applications. We have a committee who is waiting for the next committee meeting to look at those applications. So it's just based upon the audience who's going to apply. We're here to give out that money.
Excellent. And Robyn, you want to close us out?
Yeah, look, I know applications have already come in. If the funds have only just been launched, and applications are coming in, which is fantastic. It means that the word is getting out there. People are aware, and I think probably they've been waiting for this moment because we have had some requests come through, and we just ask those people to hang on a little bit until we finalize this process. And so I think that the moment it was launched, people were really pleased to see that. And there's a heap of applications sitting there waiting for us to look at and assess.
Excellent. Well, folks, if you have any questions, of course, please reach out, grants@interpride.org, and one of the committee members will be glad to get in contact with you and answer any questions. Again, we're here for our members, we're here for the community, and we look forward to keeping things moving forward in the positive direction that they're going. So bye, everyone. We'll see you later.
Bye.